Mercedes-Benz GLS 580 is premium transportation. There's no denying that. It's sumptuous to a level most luxury sedans don't rise to. This SUV will outclass more than one of them.
I'm not just driving, I'm also getting a massage right now, and it's actually pretty good.
It wasn't that long ago that sport utility vehicles were useful trucks that pulled horse trailers to 4-H competitions. This puts the S-Class in SUV. I'm not saying the GLS is a pampered softie. It can swallow up an enormous amount of mid-century modern furniture at estate sales, tow 7,700 pounds of snowmobiles to the mountain chalet, and schlep up to 7 people to the slopes. But will owners truly tap those capabilities and put the GLS in harm's way when the starting price is $100,000? And for reference, this one here is $118 grand. Maybe I'm thinking like a poor person.
There must be a lot of people out there with a lot of money because there are a lot of 3-row luxury SUVs out there. Audi Q7, BMW X7, Cadillac Escalade, Infiniti QX80, Lexus LX 570. How is a wealthy person to choose? What a dilemma.
It's not a small machine. GLS is a half a foot longer than Lincoln Aviator, though 5 inches shorter than Navigator. This rig is rigged out to seat 6. The first time captain's chairs have been offered in the S. They will coddle anyone in the mid-row with climate zones and heated seats. The glass roof is mesmerizing, makes me want to ride back here. One of the cup holders is Red Bull sized. That's a great idea for kids. Getting to row 3 is convenient, but kind of slow. See what I mean? And we're late for school.
A lot of people are interested in the third row, so let's get to that right away. There are belts for 2 back here. Now, oftentimes, there's not much room in the way back, yes, even in the big SUVs. Here, I have a good fistful of headroom. Knee and foot room are actually okay. The cushions are high enough so that thigh support is decent, and I don't have to have my knees up into my chin.
I'm 5 foot 9 inches, and it's the most spacious and comfortable third row I can remember. You might have adapters ready for friends. Their cords probably won't fit in the USB-C jacks. Will grown adults want to travel cross-country in row 3? Nope, but most shoppers looking at a GLS won't be considering a van. Let's just say it's because most don't come with all-wheel drive. It's standard on GLS 580, which is also available as the 450 with a turbocharged inline 6-cylinder. The 580 is a twin-turbo 4-liter V8. Both the 6 and 8 are equipped with EQ Boost, a 48-volt hybrid system with an integrated starter generator. I also like this carbon fiber piece, but I digress. The 580 has twice as many cylinders as a Prius, starting out with 483 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque on specified premium gasoline. Plus, there's an additional 21 horsepower and 184 pound-feet from the electric motor, if needed. That's a lot of oomph, but I'll note that this is not the most powerful GLS model. The transmission is a 9-speed, and those who want to shift for themselves can do that here. Yes, there are drive modes, and yes, this luxury ride really can go off-road. Available skid plates and an optional transfer case with a reduction gear will add confidence there. Airmatic air suspension is standard kit for the GLS. With the $6,500 E-Active body control package, this SUV has a few tricks up its fender wells.
If a GLS owner gets adventuresome and then stuck, Mercedes to the rescue. There's free driving assist, which not only helps you out of sand and snow and gravel, but it's everybody's favorite visual. You know, I hate the line, "I know what you're thinking," but I know what you're thinking. And that, Jimmy, is where baby SUVs come from.
Driven by the 48-volt system, those dampers are incredibly powerful and let drivers adjust the wheel levels individually, which would be helpful on very uneven terrain to keep all tires on terra firma for maximum traction.
You could settle for the V6 hybrid powertrain in the GLS 450 and not feel like you're settling. It's pretty powerful. But this one is very quick.
Keep in mind the weight, 5,700 pounds.
The 580 will easily sprint to 60 miles an hour in under 5 seconds, and in a vehicle this big, that is an astonishing feeling. And the V8 sounds great.
The growl is muted like it's mounted in a velvet box. Sonically, it's a reason to go with the 580. I do like the huge head-up display that's much clearer than my camera can show. The E-Active Body Control suspension does more than just make the Mercedes appear frisky.
Cameras read the road ahead, look for big bumps and potholes, and then send that information to the shock absorbers so they can react. The result is a very smooth ride without much body roll and dive. It's sort of like paving the road with memory foam. Very soft and cushy.
But never sloppy. Personally, I don't like large vehicles, especially in Seattle where clogged streets are on the narrow side, but the big Mercedes feels trim from behind the tiller. Driving a size smaller than it is, it's 10 inches longer than a Volvo XC90.
You can put the suspension into curve mode, which means when you take a corner, the car actually leans like a motorcycle or a bicycle. You do have to pay attention to notice it.
There's all sorts of active electronic safety tech, like automatic emergency braking. Cameras recognize stoplights, and the view forward automatically pops up in case there's a small pedestrian you may not see or you miss the light turning green. Active Stop and Go Assist does an exceptional job of pacing traffic in rush hour slogging while keeping the GLS centered in the lane at speeds under 40 miles an hour. Once freeway traffic clears, it accelerates back to the preset adaptive cruise control speed or follows the car in front. It reads speed limit signs and can adjust accordingly. It can also change lanes with the tap of a turn signal on the highway. In the city, it locates parking spaces and guides itself in.
Yes, the 580 is a hybrid, but nobody's buying this for the fuel economy. The EPA-rated average is 18 miles per gallon. Now, the 450 gets 3 mpg better, and it's less expensive. And let's not forget, one way to become wealthy is to not spend money.
Affluence means choice, and in this case, buyers are choosing a very comfortable, capable machine. Everything about the 580 is as slick as a politician in a vat of olive oil, though the visual of the Mercedes is much more appealing.
The 9-speed transmission is remarkably smooth, and the all-wheel drive system can route 100% of the torque either front or rear. Now, I think we all know not very many GLS owners are going to be taking these rigs off-road, even though they're very capable, but I guess it's nice to know that you can. The IQ Boost powertrain has a very powerful electric motor, so the automatic engine start-stop system is very smooth. I did this and my wife didn't even notice it was happening. She's very picky. She married me. Old joke.
It can be turned off. I never had a reason to do that. If you haven't noticed, the interior is a lovely place to see the world from. The raised driving position is what everybody seems to crave these days. Materials are Mercedes grade and impeccably finished. Beautiful ambient lighting can be set in any color. Rainbows will be jealous. Heated and vented massage seats can be adjusted for any size driver. Door and console armrests are heated, as is this. You'll have to experience the rich, powerful Burmester audio system for yourself. It's excellent, but videos are bad for demonstrating that. Large pockets hold giant water bottles. Hey, hydration is good. And the usual cubbies help to organize stuff. The center console is a bit small. And in the glove box is the fragrance system. No little trees needed in here. Bird's eye camera systems are nice. I like that the side mirror dips down when reverse is selected to help keep the 21-inch alloy wheels scuff-free when parking. Again, all the USB ports are of the new C kind. It's hard to ignore the twin 12.3-inch screens that look like one, which brings up the MBUX user interface. It should suit anyone. The voice trigger, "Hey Mercedes," does a good job of sorting out what you're asking for. There are also gesture controls, and it's a touchscreen too. But wait, there's more! There's a traditional trackpad, which is much better than the Lexus input device, and tiny touchpads on the wheel offer up all sorts of options to quickly display what you want. So there are infinite ways of getting to stuff, but because GLS is packed to the gills with features and tech, it's easy to get lost. For example, I knew about car wash mode that folds the mirrors, closes windows and the sunroof, and deactivates proximity and wiper sensors, but I couldn't get to it in the menu quickly enough, so everything's going nuts here. I was only in the car for a short time. Owners will likely become more proficient after a few months. There are some gripes. The handsome running boards are too modest to be useful. I scrape my Achilles on exit if I'm not careful. Step up to the Maybach version for retractable units. Powered sunshades and vented mid-row seats should be on a vehicle at the $118,000 level. They're options this car doesn't have. Rear wipers, those can be hidden above, you know. And I like my door releases a little larger, but hey, I can live.
One thing about three-row SUVs, if you often use all of the seating, there's not an awful lot of cargo space behind the third row. Vans are much more practical in that regard. Just saying.
GLS accommodates 6 or 7 people, but only 4 carry-on size suitcases, or in this situation, TP bundles, which are about the same size. I like that Mercedes engineers thought about where to stow the security shade. To help cargo wrangling, the air suspension lowers, and both rows are powered. That's not a big deal when dropping the third row. In fact, manual ones would be much faster than these slowpokes, but it's key for smaller people trying to raise them. And while the second row also dawdles, I'll admit there's a convenience to dropping and raising them from the back. The TP trunk test is always done with seating for 4. This rig will hold a lot, but not as much as an Enclave that swallows up 19 packs. The Mercedes has it all over the Buick in luxury and status, though, even though it stops at the 13 bundle mark. Maybe I can get 14 in. Yes, and the tailgate does close, no problem. The outgoing GLS that essentially hit the market back in 2006 was more squared off than this one. More aerodynamic now, its drag coefficient is an impressive 0.32. Mercedes calls the flowing design language sensual purity. It looks expensive and keeps the styling in the family without overtly doing the Russian doll thing. Standard multi-beam headlights get 112 LEDs per unit. My passengers noticed how good they were. If you have the funds, the GLS 580 is a formidable competitor. The only three-row SUV that clearly bests it is the Mercedes Maybach GLS 600, the ultimate version of this already indulgent ride. There's so much luxury and tech stuffed into this sport ute, an owner may not discover it all. For living large, the GLS delivers. If I haven't gotten this across, the 580 is a very deep vehicle and I hardly got to everything. I forgot to shoot the $350 Magic Vision wipers that shoot wiper fluid from the length of the blade, not hood nozzles. You know I shoot and edit these videos, right? I'm always looking for great backgrounds like this. Well, try as I might, I couldn't write these things into the piece. There's a very good haunted house near this brick wall, and it looks like they were doing some house cleaning. Either that or it's an alien invasion. And when shooting the running footage while Martin Campbell drove, some ducks kept crossing the road back and forth. Martin shot this. Duck Wrangler, just another hat I wear. I am a practical guy, and while I understand wanting to take care of a car this expensive, I had a dump run to make. I'm turning a bedroom into an office and tore out the carpet and stuff. These things don't fit into my Miata. I thought it would be a good idea to put down a drop cloth to protect the nice interior. Smart, right? Well, it turns out the cloth had some old sheetrock mud on it, so it took a half an hour to vacuum up the residue. But the Mercedes, it hauled like a champ. Got a few sideways glances at the dump, though. Here's a preview of the new digs. I'm thinking about doing some new segments. I'll be shooting them from here. I've got a lot more work to do, which keeps me out of trouble. This is the space where I'll be editing these videos from when I'm not working on a plane or in a hotel room or my couch. I like working there.
Hope you enjoyed my look at the Mercedes-Benz GLS 580. I know not an awful lot of people are going to be buying these, but it's kind of fun to dream, isn't it? And if you like these videos, click subscribe and then notifications. I put a certain amount of effort into it, and I don't want to waste my time. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments or follow me on Twitter. I'm very active there, all right? Okay, that's driven. I'm Tom Voelk.